Hi, I'm Mark Magera from Bobcat Cafe, and this is Lindsay Javort from Vermont Pub and Brewery. And we just did the blind taste panel for you, which unfortunately you were biased right from the get-go because of its title, Hops Gone Bad. So of course, your bias now is you were expecting bad hops. But we did actually put some good hops in there, believe it or not. So what we want to do is just go over what we just subjected you to. And of course we ask for you to have your piece of paper and go from left to right, your other right, and write down some notes and whatnot. Now, I have the honor of saying I did not brew this beer. But it was brewed with a base beer from Vermont Pub and Brewery, and Lindsay's going to go over that right now.
I didn't brew the beer either. But my awesome brewers did. The base beer was a beer we called What the Hellas, and it is a pretty standard lager. It was brewed with Cara malt and Pilsner malts, and then Halatar and Mount Hood hops was the base beer. It's an 18 IBU and 5.2%. And then it was dry hopped with we did 3 gallons of beer for each session against 3 ounces of the hops, whether they were good or bad, kind of making that a tight ratio so that you would be able to tell the difference and be able to taste what was good and bad about the hops.
So now the fun part. What was in the hops, or what hops were in the beer? Believe it or not, it was only Cascade was the dry hop, which is one of the more popular varieties that's been around for a while. It was our control, so to speak. The hops were grown by the Ag Extension Program, District Northwest of the UVM Ag Extension. I think I put that all right and butchered it. Up in Alberta, Vermont, and it was only Cascade. Now, on the left, believe it or not, that was the control. That was actually properly dried Cascades, properly vacuum sealed whole leaf hops. But before we actually go into what it was, what were the flavors that people got? Anybody? Raisins.
Rotten fruit.
Vegetable.
Anybody get lemony, grassy, lemongrass? I'm seeing nod, grass.
Pepper.
Okay. Any others? All right. How about the second one? Fruity. Cheesy? Vegetal. All right. Now we're on a roll. Resiny. Okay, the second one actually were dried properly, but the cones were completely crushed inside of the vacuum sealed bag, thus creating even more surface area. So when we would get the actual vacuum sealed bag of whole leaf hops, they were like completely ripped apart inside the bag. Yeah, so it's amazing what your packaging will do properly. So then what's the third one? Sour?
Cidery almost.
Metallics, okay. Now we're getting, okay. Now the first two actually, once they were dried and vacuum sealed properly, they were actually stored cold, like freezing cold. But the third one was actually kept at room temperature from harvest, but it was vacuum sealed and dried properly. So that's another sign of how differently our hops can be treated when we get them as the end user. Fourth one? Sake, what? Soggy? Sake. That is a accurate flavor. Rotten fruit. All right, this one was fun. I had like a tea, like watery, papery, and that could have been, anyways. These were spider mite damaged Cascades that were actually dried properly, then vacuum sealed. Yeah, so Integrated pest management is also very important. Okay, fourth one, or fifth one, excuse me.
Maybe he was going another way.
All right. Believe it or not, the fifth one, it was a test. They wanted to see what would happen if you took properly dried, vacuum sealed hops and then put them in a freezer next to coffee.
We're infusing them, yeah.
Infusing them in coffee.
We had a situation of the manure sample last year.
They didn't want to actually have you drink beer with manure in it, so
Yeah,
they decided
that's
to use
bad.
coffee instead. So there was coffee smell, and when I got them, they smelled like coffee. In fact, I still have some. If you guys want to pass the bag around. Or,
And both were back to field, the coffee and hop.
yeah, and when I first got them, they were reeking of coffee. But the bag was, that green bag, smelled like I just went to the store and bought a bag of coffee.
What was the medium you used for vacuum packing? What kind of plastic or bag material?
The Ag Extension Program, they did it.
It's written in the hop report.
It's in a report. Rosalie will get the information later. Email her. But wait, today's your last day.
Email me before Thursday.
Right. All right. And then our last one. What's our last one?
PBI.
PBR? Oh, I don't want to hurt another brewery.
It's an all right American lager.
All right. It was the base beer. However, the dry hop were soggy hops, not dried enough. This is sometimes what we get when people walk into the brewery and say, yeah, we grow these hops and we want you to buy them. They're whole leaf. We want you to pay X amount of dollars for them. And this is the kind of beer we'd make if we actually said, yeah, okay. So we wanted to bring this last one to your attention the most. So it was not dried enough, not vacuum sealed, just put in a Ziploc bag. And I'm passing this one around because I want everybody to smell this one. Because this one's a real treat. It was even more fun actually doing this sampling, and I really appreciate you guys bearing with us and trying this. But this is why sometimes you get a lot of resistance from some brewers out in the community, because this is some things we face. And some smile and say, okay, well, let's work together. And others are like, don't bother me, I'm busy. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.